Hey,
Hey, Jack, how are you?
Jack Harrison, All Georgia Insurance.
Yeah, come on in, have a seat.
It's good to see you, Mr. Pittsnuggle.
Good to see you.
How have you been? It's great to see you at the conference.
Yeah, those are always fun events, Jack.
They are.
You meet a lot of good people and learn a little bit about what's going on in the community, in the industry, and then certainly had the opportunity to meet you, Jack. So I'm glad you could come by.
Yeah, that's great. What role do you have? Do you have like a specific role there, or do you do any business?
I moved down from Noonan, Georgia a few years ago, and I've always was active with the chamber there, and I thought I'd, learn a little bit about it. And at some point, I'll probably get a little more active. But right now, I'm just a business owner, just trying to meet people and do business with people that do business with me.
Is your wife planning those summer picnics coming up? Because I am looking forward to those.
Every year.
That's
every
right,
year,
right.
brother. They
That's
get bigger and bigger,
So
I don't even ask about the cost anymore, Jack. I just let it go. Don't even argue about that,
That's awesome. So I understand that whenever we were talking, you were a little concerned about your coverage and your current insurance agent. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, family friend,
Right.
been doing my stuff for a long time. He's still in Noonan, Georgia. We've moved the operation to here, to Thomasville. So, as we've evolved and done a lot of work on our personal home and looking to expand, I just don't know if that distance now is the best fit for me anymore.
Okay.
Looking to make sure all these updates we've done on our personal home are all included now in my insurance program and making sure things are covered and so on and so forth. And then business-wise, I'm expanding and I'm going to continue to expand. And so I gotta have somebody that I can deal with and that's responsive, that I can communicate with, and and it could be on a Sunday afternoon, it could be on a Saturday morning, when the deal's trying to be worked, and I want to make sure that I have somebody I can trust.
Yeah. And I can be that man for you. There are definitely some advantages to having a local agent right in Thomasville. First of all, I know the area, right? I'm right here.
Right.
And so I'm a CRM, and there's just advantages for me being right here. I can come to your property and take a look. If you have concerns about that, I can come over and take a look. And speaking of that, what specifically about the property are you concerned about?
Well, I don't know if it's specific other than we've updated all the electrical in the home and the plumbing and the HVAC, and it's a brand new roof. We've built a barn. We have now horses and livestock.
Right.
Things that when we first bought the home weren't in place. Now they are in place, and there may be other improvements to the home. So I don't know hadn't seen the renewal policy, so I don't even know if some of that stuff is even on there. And if something happens, and it did, had a claim, wasn't covered, how do you guys handle claims? If I had a claim, if I went with you as my broker and had a claim, how does All Georgia handle claims for clients?
Right. So since I'll be your agent, I'll be with you, and I'll directly handle the claim. And I have a team with me, and I'm here for you, and you can call me and stuff like that. So I will handle the claims with you with that. So things I've seen already and the experience in Thomasville, I've seen, for example, like for you specifically, like you're by wooded areas, so that could be a fire hazard, so stuff like that. So maybe fire insurance, we could up that, that might be a higher deductible, but in the end, you'll be safe, right? And you mentioned your cattle and your horses.
Right.
You could get those insured too, because are you using those for business purposes, or is that more pleasure?
The horses definitely are. The cattle, we just have a 30 head right now, but I envision looking at that as a money-making venture in the future.
Okay.
Having I don't want to say a cattle ranch, but I'll have more than 30 and probably run some livestock through there to make a few extra bucks.
Right. Smart. So I've also seen with your staff, you know, that you're kind of having exposure there with, you know, at the end of the day, people want your money, right? As we live in a litigious society, people want to sue. They want, you know, money if they can get it. So how is that managed? Are they paid overtime or how does
You
that
know,
work?
I mean, you know, none of them live on site.
Mhm.
Just as far as the staff for my home, you know, I mean, we have a cook slash, you know, housekeeper and a couple of
Okay.
hands that help me out on the property there. So, no, they, you know, they get their 40 hours a week, and I pay them,
Okay. Good.
they help out, you know, when I need them.
Okay. Good. So moving aside from the property, can you tell me about your business, the garage and the car washes and stuff?
Yeah, you know, I got into this business many years ago, and it was a diesel shop that I had the good fortune of being able to work in and grow into and learn and eventually purchased.
Hmm.
And have grown that business quite a bit, and that's still in Noonan. I don't see any expansion in that area.
Hmm.
Um, but what I do see expansion is when I got to Thomasville, I saw some needs. I wanted to venture out a little bit other than the diesel, and that's when I, you know, had the car washes and the lube shops. And so I see expansion in that. I see expansion outside of Georgia with those types of businesses.
Hmm.
And I also see expansion of maybe some automotive repair type places, you know, other than, you know, changing your oil or washing your car.
Right.
So again, somebody that can help me better understand the insurance implications of adding these extra services and these extra businesses
Hmm.
to make sure I'm protected. I've done well for myself, and I want to make sure my family's protected.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I want too. So with the garage, I understand that you have a partner with that, right? How is that? How do you manage that?
Yeah, you know, in all the businesses,
Mhm.
we have a minority partner. I get put a little skin in the game, right?
Right.
That
Yeah.
helps. But I'm the majority stockholder in each
Mhm.
one of the businesses, so the decision on anything business-wise rests with me. Um, but they're the day-to-day person. I
Right.
didn't want to be that anymore, and I
Right.
can't go
Yeah.
to all these places.
Right.
So having some ownership, having the ability to run the shops day to day, confer with me if they need to, but I think it's worked out well, and it's certainly helped them become more successful.
Hmm. Uh, for them, have you considered life insurance, like key man life insurance? If like something happens and you know the partnership ceases to exist or
No,
something.
my current broker didn't mention that, but
Okay.
that's an interesting concept,
Okay.
Jack. Interesting.
Good. And what are you specifically concerned about in your oil lube locations and your car washes?
I don't think I'm concerned about it. I just know if I expand, what does that do
Okay.
to my insurance
Yeah.
plan, my programs? You know, how does that get handled? You know, to
Mhm.
make sure I got the right coverages at each one of the locations. You know, sometimes I own the building, Jack, and sometimes I don't.
Right.
Sometimes I'm just a renter. You
Mhm.
know, and how does my insurance play with all that?
Mhm.
You know, so there's going to be questions that come up depending on what deal that we're negotiating and what terms, whether or not my insurance plan is still applicable.
Mhm. So in my experience, I'm just gonna say a few things that I've seen in the past, and I've seen with car washes, primary exposure is definitely since these are like nice cars and this is a high-end car wash, the machinery and stuff like that, you know, because more times than often, tires get destroyed, glass breaks, stuff like that. So that's probably going to be your biggest exposure is just damaging the customers, right? Because not only does that hurt your business financially, it hurts your business reputationally, right?
Yeah.
So I've seen that. I've seen employee theft, right? I mean, that could always be a possibility. So how do you manage hiring employees?
Well, you know, we certainly have a screening process. Most of the employees, because right now we are relatively small,
Mhm.
a lot of it's been word of mouth, a lot of it's been referrals.
Mhm.
We have cameras everywhere.
Okay.
We certainly have checks and balances as far as the money goes. Two people count the money in the morning and two have to count it in the afternoon. Certainly those transactions are done electronically, so my wife and I certainly can look at those throughout the day, depending on the volume. And so you scared me a little bit, Jack, and talked about windshields and tires being damaged and theft. So luckily, knock on wood, if this is wood, hadn't gone through that, but certainly something to consider.
Yeah, and the other things too, like I've seen things where it's like even how lit the place is. So like if the lighting's bad, right, vandalism, we could have a problem there. I mean that, puts a damage on your reputation again, and it's gonna take time and money. And time you lose money for that, and you gotta be careful of that.
Right.
So these are just things I've seen, and I just want to have a discussion with you about that and try to help you with that.
Is there coverage to repair my reputation if I say unfortunately something happens and I lose some business and it's all based on what people think my reputation is of how they? Can you buy insurance to cover stuff like that?
For reputation, you definitely get like general liability, so that could help with the very generic things like slips and falls and stuff like that. But reputation-wise, the best way would just be to avoid it altogether. So I think avoidance is the best, risk management technique. So if you could just avoid it completely by, buying insurance, hedging, retention, hold harmless contracts, whatever it could be. If you could avoid it altogether, where you don't even have to worry about that, because at the end of the day, like you said, you don't need to be there day to day, right? You're the boss. No. You're right, exactly. You don't want to have to worry about that. You want to expand, right? You want to expand what you already have and grow, and you want to make continue to make money, which is great. And so buying insurance and having avoidance goes a long way with that.
Okay, all right.
So let's see. For your personal property, what can you tell me about the barn? Do you know if that's covered?
I know we've told him about the barn. When it was all being constructed and certainly when it was completed. Again, I've not seen my renewal policy, so I don't know if it's on there for sure. I trust my agent. He's never let me down for the most part, so I'm sure that if I told him that we were doing these things, that they would show up on the policy. But as we sit here today, I don't have any documents to prove yes or no.
Okay. And your relationship with your agent, what could you say could be better with that?
Just communication. Yeah, I mean, that's the key to all this, right, Jack? I mean, it's just communicating and making sure that we're all on the same page, we all understand. And if there is an issue, be man enough to say, Dave, there's an issue, and so on and so forth, and then we can deal with it, Yeah,
so that could also be, an advantage of having someone local, right? Since I'm going to be right here in Thomasville, communicating with me.
So you're going to come face to face and tell me there's a problem?
Absolutely. I mean, I could absolutely come out to your property, no obligation, right? No harm, no loss. Come out to your property, check it out for you, right?
Right.
It's in Thomasville, and I'm going to see you in the chamber all the time too. So
yeah,
we're starting to get to know each other better. So yeah. Let's see. About the car wash. Are you concerned about anything else? Have I answered any of your concerns, or just give you more to think about?
Yeah, no, you gave me more to think about. Certainly, it's been, again, knock on wood, we've been good, we've been fortunate. We have a nice business, we have some good management on staff that run the day-to-day operation. So, right there, I think we're in good shape.
Okay, great. Can we set up a future meeting, like sometime next week, to talk more?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in that.
What day works for you?